Okay, parents, I am sending home another video that has everything to do with everything that your student will be expected to do on their own tonight for homework. You are currently looking at the sheet that went home for homework today. Some of this, if not most of it, should already be completed because we started this in class today, and this is all that we worked from. They should have at least done 7 through 12 because we worked on those together, and maybe 13 through 16. But I'm going to break down each section because yes, it's one sheet, but they're asked to do 3 different things within the whole worksheet. So let's take a look at what they're going to be asked to do first. So their first task is to find the percent of a number. Now we've been working in the last couple of weeks with percents, decimals, and fractions. So this also incorporates that into what they're going to be asked to do tonight. So number 7, which we also completed in class, 64% of 7 tiles. Now, their step 1 is to take the 64% and make sure that it looks like a decimal. Turn it into a decimal. 64%, another word for percent is 64 hundredths, which looks like 64 hundredths. And then they're going to multiply it times 75 tiles. That looks just like multiplication with the exception of the decimal. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 more is 30. There's that placeholder. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 3 more is 45. And when we add that all up, that is what we get. However, our answer cannot be 4,800 because that just doesn't make sense. We only had 75 tiles to start with. So, the way that you do that is you check your problem. You count to see how many numbers you have sitting behind the decimal in the problem. There's 1, 2. So in your answer, you make sure you have 1, 2 digits also sitting behind the decimal. So our answer is 48 tiles. 64% of 75 tiles is 48 tiles. All right, number 8 just repeats that process. 20% of 70 plants. First things first, we're going to take this percent, make it look like a decimal. 20% is the same thing as 20 hundredths. And then we're going to multiply that times 70 plants. Again, multiplication looks the same as it always does. And sometimes the kids need to see those extra zeros there. So my placeholder, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 7 is 14. And we're going to add that up together. Again, check that problem. There are 1, 2 digits sitting behind the decimal in the problem. There should be 1, 2 digits sitting behind the answer, the decimal in the answer. So 20% of 70 plants would be 14 plants. That's one part of what they're going to be asked to do for homework. Here's the second part of what they're going to be asked to do for homework. Now, I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger. I think that's a little bit too small. Let's see if I can stretch that out. Maybe not so much because it's too big now. Sorry, I made that like way too big. Okay. Now I don't know how to change it back. I'm sorry. So we're going to roll with it. Okay. Number 16. I had 15 up here, but we'll do 16. Number 16 is another part of that same worksheet. It's asked them to find a percent given a part and a whole. So this time, they don't give them the percent. As you can see, there's a blank space right here where the percent should be, but they give them the whole and they give them the part. So they're going to make a fraction. Part over whole. Just like that. The whole is how many in all? 200 miles in all. The part is 150. Our job is to take this fraction and turn it into a percent, which is what we've been working on for the past 2 weeks. There's a couple of different ways they can do that. The first way is to divide, which was in the previous video I sent out. These are bigger numbers, so I doubt they'll want to divide them. Or make that denominator into a tenth, a hundredth, or a thousand. We can make 200 become 1,000 by multiplying times 5. So we're going to do the exact same thing here. Times, I put times 2, but I'm sorry, that's supposed to be a 5. Times 5 and times 5. Well, that's going to equal 750 thousandths. Now, still doesn't look like we want it to because we have to have a percent. Now, 750 thousandths looks just like 750 thousandths. Now, knowing their place value behind the decimal really comes in handy right here. Now, the way we take that decimal and make it become a percent is we move it over once, twice, which becomes 75%. So there's parts of their homework tonight that's going to require them to do that. Now let's look at that third and final part. Okay, last but not least, they are being asked to find the whole when they're given the part and they're given the percent. So they have some of those. And the example that I took right off of their homework for tonight was number 21 and number 22. So, first things first, we have to identify which part is the part, what part's the percent. So here's my percent. Here's the part, 15 peaches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a fraction. Because we're looking for that part to whole. The whole is the part we don't know. We don't know how many peaches in all. That goes there. But we do know that 75% of all the peaches is 15. Our job is to find out how much is all the peaches. So the part is 15. The whole, we still don't know. But there's one more piece of information that we do have that's going to be helpful. 75%. 75% is the same thing as 75 hundredths. Our job, in order to find this missing piece down here, is to figure out what did we do to 15 to make it equal 75. What did we do to 15 to make it equal 75? So 15 times 5 equals 75. Now, they also know the rule that what you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator and vice versa. So, because I multiplied times 5 in the numerator, I'm going to do the same thing up top or down below in the denominator. Something times 5 equals 100. Now, either they're going to know that 20 times 5 equals 100, or they're going to have to divide 5 into 100 to figure that out. But the answer here is 20. 20 is the whole. So there's 20 peaches in all. 75% of that 20 is 75% of that 20, yes, is 15. That's almost all of the 20, but not quite. All right. Can you erase some of this so we can get just a little bit more room? Now let's look at 22, which is asking the same thing of us. They want us to find the whole. They gave us the part and they gave us the percent. So we're going to do the exact same thing. How many stores are there in all? I know that 9 stores is just a small percent of 3%. That's only part of it. My job is to find the whole. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Start that part to whole fraction. 9 is the part. The whole, I don't know. Don't know how many stores in all. 3% is the same thing as 3 hundredths. There we go. I'm going to ask myself, how do you get from 9 to 3? Divide by 3, you get 3. And something divided by 3 is 100. Something divided by 3 is 100. Now, they're going to know that 300 divided by 3 is 100, or they're going to multiply these two things together. 3 times 100 equals 300. So 300 divided by 3 is 100. Okay, hope this is very helpful for tonight if they get stuck. I did assign all of the worksheet with the exception of my 6th period class because we didn't quite get this far in class, but some of it is also reserved for them. Be on the safe side, just have them do it all. Most of it should come home again already completed. Please email me or call me if you have any questions.